Have you ever felt like I was acting Jamaican? What up everyone, CharisMaggie here and welcome back to my channel where I encourage you to submerge yourself in culture and live meaningful lives. Today I'm here with a guest. Can you guess who this is? I'm here with my brother, y'all. Yay! Welcome him, welcome him. So,
what's up everyone?
I brought my brother onto my channel. It's not the first time that he's been on my channel, but officially introduced, this would be the first time. So a lot of you already know my background. So I'm Guyanese born, raised in Jamaica by Haitian parents. He's Jamaican born, raised in Jamaica, raised by Haitian parents. So that's pretty much what we're going to be talking about today. Like, you know, what it was like growing up in Jamaica, but within a Haitian household. And what that was like for us, and you know, in terms of our identity and stuff like that. So yeah, so I actually got a couple questions about this. So the first question that someone asked me was, for me personally, have I ever felt out of place, being that I was born in another country but I grew up in the Jamaican culture? Like, have I ever felt like I was going against my culture? It feels a bit weird, I will admit, because for example, when we have like holidays such as like Guyanese independence, stuff like that, I don't really know how to feel or integrate myself into the conversation because I wasn't grown there. I was just born there. I don't know a lot, so the most I can do is just post like happy independence and that's about it. But I want to do better at getting to know more about my culture, but it's a bit hard because I don't have that many Guyanese friends. So the ones that I do have, they live outside of Toronto. So
Like too young?
Not really, but like I don't really know what to even ask them. Like I don't know really where to start. So I guess I'm gonna have to try and figure out how to do that first and then ask them the questions that I want to ask. The second question that I got, this is actually for Junior. Have you ever felt like I was acting Jamaican?
Well, you have to understand that, like, for me personally, I was young, right? So by the time I knew you, you were technically Jamaican to me.
True, because I was 4. By the time he was born, I was 4 years old. So you
Yeah.
didn't even know I was Guyanese until like you probably saw my passport.
I really didn't know that, like, what ethnicity, like, when I got to know that, or when that made sense to me as a kid. At that time, she probably already had a Jamaican accent. She already knew patois, already speaking, already had Jamaican friends, and was integrated into the whole scene. So, yeah, I wouldn't really. To me, she's more Jamaican than Guyanese. To me, based on my experiences. But I don't know. How she feels different, maybe.
I don't think I try to be Jamaican. Like I think this is where some people get it mixed up because I don't know if you saw the interview with White Yachty. That's probably a video that we will touch on at a later day. But people kind of like confuse like when you are grown up in a certain culture, like automatically that's the one that you're going to adapt to. And also like even though yes we grew up in Jamaica, like culturally speaking, like most of our upbringing was really in a Haitian household anyways, but our parents did understand that we were living in Jamaica, so there are certain things we would be exposed to. So like reggae music, you know, we knew about that. Not only that, but like in terms of the food, like our mom did a great job at making sure that she knew how to cook Jamaican food. Some Guyanese food my mom cooked as well, so that I would still have some sort of my culture with me. But then we also got Haitian food, so I guess that was a good thing though, because the house wasn't boring in terms of food. There was always something new to try.
Yeah, there's always different like foods culturally. I feel like the ackee and saltfish, etc. Like wherever my parents, I realized this with my mom. Wherever my mom was, she tried to learn the food.
Oh yeah, because we moved to Belize and she did the same thing.
With even Belize, she would try to like, although it's not really originated or not technically made in like Belize, but like the Mexican type food, like the tacos,
like tacos,
stuff like that, and then even the Johnny cakes and stuff like that. That was Belizean. Like she would try to do that as well. So I feel like wherever we went, my mom just just being the chef, she was naturally curious as to like how to make this or how to make that or how to do this, how to do that. So it was never a problem food wise or whatever culture we were in. We kind of got integrated pretty fast. I feel like they didn't
Yeah.
limit us in that regards. But to me, she was always Jamaican because by the time I started talking, and she was already talking patois fully and fluently, and you know all of that. So
yeah,
I mean,
like that has never really been a question for us, to be honest. I think it wasn't until probably I left Jamaica and started living in Canada, like conversations or questions like that got asked to me.
yeah, it probably would be weird. Like, how do you feel like when people ask you where you're from, like how do you answer that?
How do I answer?
Because I feel like I feel like I have it
Easier to give an answer.
yeah, I have an easier answer. But even then, like just because I moved, I remember recently somebody asked me where was the last place I was, because obviously they assumed that it was gonna be Jamaica because I was from Jamaica. And I said Belize, and they were kind of like, what?
Confused.
So where are you from? And I'm like, oh, I'm from Jamaica. So why were you in Belize? I'm like, oh, this. So I figured it must be very like more complicated for you to.
Yeah, like for me, when people always ask me where are you from, I always just say, so I was originally born in Guyana, but I grew up in Jamaica.
And then you have Haitian parents.
Yeah.
I feel like people still
like it's confusing to
yeah,
them, but then I get to give the whole story due to my parents' line of work.
Yeah,
but I always make sure that I emphasize though that I was born in Guyana, because I still have a Guyanese passport. I don't want to ever like feel like I'm abandoning that side of me, but like how I was raised, like I know nothing about Guyanese culture in terms of like even phrases, words that they use, like mannerisms, things like that. I don't know, I can't relate in that way, but I can relate to Jamaican culture because that's where like we were there for like what 15-16 years, so
yeah,
naturally
large chunk of my life. So
yeah. The next question that we got was this is actually a segue to the previous one. With our parents moving so much, like did we ever feel like how did we find it to navigate new cultures based on where we had to move?
I think you probably found it harder than me. I think.
You think so?
Yeah.
Why? Why you say that?
I think for me, I liked it. I really like moving. I wish you could have moved every 3 years, 2 years, to be honest.
Where can you pinpoint that you think I had a rough time with it? Because I think I know when that was.
I feel like when we started becoming more aware, in terms of like developing certain friendships and like leaving certain friendships behind.
Yeah, so like I think the one that I had the hardest time with was when we moved from Montego Bay, yeah. And the reason for that was because like my best friend and everything, like all of them are from Montego Bay. And I think that was like the place that we moved to where I was starting to not only just be aware of who I was, but also that's where you remember how we couldn't really go places, right? We have like strict Haitian parents, like they didn't really trust too many things. So a lot of people like always like thought that, oh, I must have gone to Pasa and things like that. Listen, I grew up with Christian parents, and the equivalent of us having Haitian parents is the equivalent to anyone who's from Jamaica who has Christian parents as well. So I think that's how I could relate to some of my other friends, because certain places we couldn't get to go. But I think the reason I had a hard time moving was because school-wise, remember I completed 1 year of junior college, so that meant I had to start all over again. And I had to study still to pass an exam, like CAPE, for those of you who know what CAPE is. And the next thing was, I didn't want to leave my friends. I didn't know what Belize was like. I was scared because I had to meet friends excited. All over again. I know you were excited. He looks forward to like the adventure more than I was at the time.
Like I was like dying to go to Belize. But not that it was a bad situation or anything. Just like
you just wanted to try something new. Yeah, I think because you've always known just Jamaica, so it was like you're ready to experience something else.
Not even that, because even if we moved yearly to different parishes,
yeah,
that I'd still like that.
Be excited.
But it's just at an early age I already came to terms with what my parents did, and like that the reality of what it was like at any point in time
we can move.
So I just knew that it kind of came in handy, and it's a vice, and it has its pros and its cons. Where right now the way I'm wired is like until there's until it's proven otherwise, like everything is kind of like temporary, if you get what I mean.
Oh yeah, that's how you pretty much live. Things are temporary.
Everything feels kind of like temporary because like you don't know when I would move next. So that's kind of how I took it from a younger age, and I guess it's compartmentalizing like a coping mechanism, I guess, when you're young, trying to like, obviously if you have friends and like as a kid you don't understand certain things, like okay, you have to move, so why do I have to go with you? Certain things, like you're a kid, and in certain way you perceive things is not always, you perceive it in your own unique way. I felt like I had the unique thing where I didn't perceive it in the way of a kid, like I kind of knew already that we had to move, and it's something that my parents had to do. So I was like, okay, cool. It's not their fault. It's not my fault. So I'm not gonna blame anybody. So it's just it sucks. And then I kind of the first time I feel like after we moved a couple times, and I realized that I never got to see the people when I moved,
when you move from a new
I feel like that really was what settled in my mind. Okay, cool. I move and I'm in the same country, and I never get to see these people ever again when I move. So when I kind of moved to different countries, I was kind of like, all right, cool. So I'm definitely not seeing you again, unless, you know what I mean. So it was that's how I perceive it, kind of.
I think with that, because of how our parents were, so my parents were pretty much also with the mindset of they do not request where they wanted to be moved to. They always just went with the flow. So I think with them being like that, that also helped us in being accepting of the new adventure, the new country. And my parents were pretty open. Like, I've never heard my parents complain like, damn, why did they send us there? Like, literally never ever heard them complain. So for me, their positive attitude towards this new assignment that they got every time or every couple of years, I think that also helped us in being accepting and, knowing that, okay, we're going to move somewhere else. So it's like the process starts all over again. You're going to go to a new school. You're going to meet new friends. You're going to have to try different foods. Are you going to complain about it? Or are you just going to adapt and get used to it and just go with the flow?
Yeah, maybe I was young, but like, I don't really, like, I think they made us aware of it.
Yeah, pretty early. Yeah, from like
early. But I don't know if if it was something that they reinforced every time. Like
no, they didn't have to reinforce it. That's what I mean. They didn't have to reinforce it. Like pretty much they would get the news because like we weren't moving frequently. Like we have other friends that their parents do the same thing that ours do.
And
they would
really
be moving like every 2 years, every year, sometime for some. We were like. It was like every 4, 5. The maximum was 6. I think that my parents were at an appointment that was in Belize. So we weren't even there for that long. Like by that time we were
every 4 years.
So we moved off like on our own. That's by the time that we were in Belize. Like I spent 2 years there. Then I came to Canada. So for school. So yeah, I think our parents helped with that. Just their attitude. They didn't have to like be too vocal about it. We kind of just knew it is what it is, and we made the best of it. So kudos to mommy and daddy for that. I had another question, can't remember it. It was while he was talking, there was another one, but I lose the train of thought on what it was.
When I was talking about one.
Ooh, okay. So next question. Is there a specific thing that when people ask you because of your cultural background that like annoys the heck out of you? Like, what's your biggest pet peeve with like when someone hears the accent or they know you're from Jamaica, like that it's like,
I mean, most of it is probably like culturally, like some of the cultural questions that they ask,
like
it doesn't
what?
make any sense.
Like what? Give us an
like I've had people ask me like if I have bathrooms and stuff like that, and it's
like
what?
guys, I know
where do
some
you
of
think I live?
Yeah, like I know some of my friends who are like from like different African culture, countries, and they have mentioned like people asking them stuff like, "Oh, do you have Wi-Fi?" Like
yeah, like just dumb stuff like that. And I mean, cultural wise, like if I partake in certain recreational activities or if I do,
we're talking about the cannabis, y'all.
Like
asking us, have you ever had?
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's fair. I mean, I get it's not like it's not fair questions, but it's just like it's almost like not even questions, almost like an assumption off rip.
True.
Which kind of like annoys. Like you can ask me a question, but like some people just
assume. Oh, so how is like when they come and they're like, oh, so how is it? You must miss the good old.
Yeah, like that type of stuff. Like it's like you almost like insinuate that I do that, or like the biggest thing that used to for me used to be the Rastafarianism. I think. I didn't even mind the weed stuff because I knew that's what Jamaica was known for, right? So it was kind of like whatever. One was like, now I remember like, did you know Bob Marley? What?
Bob Marley died,
He died like
before we were even born.
like, bro, like what? Like,
are you related to Bob Marley? Like things
yeah,
like
stuff
that.
like that. Like you just be questions about.
Do you know
like,
Usain Bolt?
that? Like they would ask questions of if I knew certain public figures. Like, do you know Ariana Grande? Like, stop asking me. Like, it's such a. Like those kind of questions, but I get it. But then it's kind of still was kind of like frustrating at the same time. I don't mind you asking. Like I like to like educate if I can, but it's just the kind of insinuating that like okay, assuming that that is what it is. Like I do know Usain Bolt, and then I have to explain that I don't, and then they're kind of confused as to why I
you don't know you.
And it's kind of like
wait, what you don't? That's
a trail win. Like yeah, so there's certain questions. I mean, when I was younger, definitely the bathroom questions and like if I have certain things like somebody asked me if I had microwave or like like I can heat your food for you in a microwave. I'm like, well duh, like yeah. And then just like Bob Marley, do you know that? Do you know? Because I don't mind people say like, do you know reggae music or didn't listen to reggae music? Like, right?
Yeah, because not everybody. Like to be honest, like that's a thing too with any culture. It doesn't matter that if it's a part of your culture, not everyone necessarily indulges in it. So not everyone listens to dancehall who's from Jamaica. Not everyone listens to reggae. Some people are more like. I've seen some people that because they're from a Caribbean culture and they're into like emo music or techno or what's that house party one called? That house party EDM. People are like shocked, and like if they can't dance or like whine, people are shocked. And it's like just understand that we're not monolithic people. Like we all have our different things that we like, and also understand too, depending on if you grew up religious as well, that can also impact some of the things that you partake in that is a part of the culture or not. So not all of us can go to carnival, not all of us can go pasa pasa and whatnot, because it's not a part of everyone's culture in that way because of how they're raised. So yeah, was there anything else? I don't have any more questions. I think that's all I had.
I think that's it. I think we gave enough information.
Yeah, if y'all have any other questions for us, feel free to ask them in the comment section below, and look out for any other videos we might have together. And yeah, thank you bro for being a part of this video.
I'm leaving tomorrow. So
yeah, I have him for a little bit, so I got to do this video with him while I can. If you're not subscribed yet, please subscribe, like this video. 10K, come on, like this video, all that good stuff. I don't have to repeat myself all the time, but please, y'all subscribe, like the video, and let me know your thoughts. And yeah, check out this video right here. This is a pretty good one. I compared living in Jamaica and Belize, so go ahead and watch that one right now. See you next time. Bye.